Today's second video is firstly, Ethiopian National Security Council met just an hour ago. A statement has been released. What was the agenda of this meeting? Some key decisions have been made. We know that economic conditions are worsening. Economic crisis is engulfing common Ethiopians. That is why today a meeting of National Security Council was held. Some key decisions have been made. We'll have a look at the decision announced by National Security Council meeting chaired by Ethiopian PM Abiy. Secondly, in several previous videos, we reported about clashes in Oromia Special Zone and North Shore Zone of Amhara region. Clashes erupted between Oromo locals and Amhara forces, Amhara militias in Ataya, Shiva Robit, Mulale, and some other places. But things are coming under control. There is relative peace and calm in both zones now. We haven't heard of new clashes in the past few hours. But a new front opened last night on Oromia Amhara border. This time, the front is not in Oromia Special Zone or North Shore Zone of Amhara region. It's in Gojjam. Proper Gojjam. Here, reportedly, some exchange of gunfire was reported last night in some areas. We'll have a look at the areas where exchange of gunfire on Oromia Amhara border took place. And lastly, viewers, Tigray, where we have a report from a hospital in Tigray. Patients have been told to leave the hospital because the hospital does not have any food, does not have any medicines, and it is the largest hospital, one of the largest hospitals in Tigray. Firstly, viewers, Ethiopian PM Abiy chaired a meeting of National Security Council today. A statement has been issued after this meeting. What was the agenda of this meeting? What does this meeting indicate? The statement says that there are three forces working against Ethiopia. Firstly, historical enemies of Ethiopia. I think here the statement is implying other countries. Second enemy is agents of historical enemies who are working in Ethiopia against Ethiopian government, against Ethiopian people. And thirdly, the focus of this statement is on this third group. The statement says there are some Ethiopian individuals and groups who are unknowingly being used by the enemies of Ethiopia. And this third group members, these third groups, they are involved in activities which are detrimental to the unity of the country. The statement says that Ethiopian security institutions are now in a strong position. And they're in a position to take action. So that is why action will be taken in coming days against those who are involved in spreading of false information, who are involved in creating conflicts, who are illegally armed. What is the statement implying? It seems that the government is saying that media could come under crackdown in coming days. Armed groups could come under a crackdown. OLA is already under a crackdown. There is an ongoing operation against Omar Bashir army. But the most important part of this statement is the one in which there is mention of action against hoarders and smugglers. The statement says that action will be taken against hoarders who store items, food items illegally, And secondly, those who are involved in smuggling of oil, manufacturing substandard oil and other products. So the focus seems to be on the announcement that there will be action against Ethiopian traders who are involved in hoarding and those persons who are involved in smuggling. That shows that the government is under pressure. There is pressure upon the government to deliver. In several previous videos, we reported about soaring prices of food items, oil prices, chicken meat price, fertilizer price. Several other items, their prices have gone up. Now, the government wants to take action. So, in coming days, I think we are going to see action against media institutions, media outlets. We could see action against traders, factory owners, and some groups as well in Ethiopia. Will this improve the economic conditions? That remains to be seen. And lastly, the statement says that since Eid holidays and Easter holidays are coming, that is why people should unite and help each other and identify the enemies of the country. The statement is urging all Ethiopians to play their part in helping security institutions. So, security institutions are being praised in this statement, which PM Abiy does very regularly, that he always commends the role of Ethiopian National Defense Force and other forces in nation building, in ensuring law and order in Ethiopia. The statement, I can sum up by saying that the statement is an announcement that in coming days action will be taken against those persons who are involved in spreading false information, who are involved in creating conflicts, litigious others, and especially action will be taken against trader community. Secondly, we have a new story from a place which is on Amhara-Oromia border. We have been reporting about Oromo-Amhara clashes in North Shava and Oromia special zones of Amhara region. Now we have a report from East Gojjam zone of Amhara region. East Gojjam shares border with Oromia as well. And reportedly last night, exchange of gunfire was reported in Baso Liban Wareda of East Gojjam. Baso Liban is close to Oromia. And here in Baso Liban, there is a place called Kork. There, this exchange of gunfire happened. Amhara news sources say that OLA fighters, they call it OLF, that OLA fighters, they tried to enter Baso Liban, and there was exchange of fire, and that Fano is deployed there. Now, it shows that this Amhara-Oromo ethnic tension could spread. Because in the previous video, I reported about Fano's presence in East Valagam, which we confirmed from the ground. So if Fano militia members, if Amhara forces, they remain part of the ongoing military operation against Oromo Liberation Army, we could see similar attacks in different parts of Amhara region, which are on Amhara-Oromia border. Like we are seeing tensions on Oromia-Swan region border. There we have seen clashes as well in Gurada Mole, I think. There were clashes between local communities, Somali and Oromo communities. Here also in Oromia Special Zone, North Shore Zone, and in Gojjam in border areas, there could be increase in ethnic clashes if regional forces remain part of the operation against Oromo Liberation Army. And that is what we are seeing so far. OLF, Oromo Liberation Front, yesterday issued a statement and it warned the regional forces that they should stop being part of the operation. It will have consequences. And that is the consequence which we have been talking about in previous videos, that OLA-backed groups will hit these regions if the regional forces remain part of the operation. Lastly, viewers, Tigray, we have a new story from Tigray's largest hospital, Ayder Referral Hospital. It's in Mekelle, capital city of Tigray. Here, 240 patients have been sent back home by the hospital authorities. Why? Because the hospital authorities don't have any food. Hospital has run out of 90% of medicines. There are no medicines for cancer patients. And those patients who are admitted, they are making arrangements for food on their own. This is Tigray's largest hospital, Ayder Referral Hospital. Overall, 90%, around 90% of the population in Tigray is in need of food aid. But the speed of delivery of aid is very slow, very slow. Just 1 or 2 dozen trucks arrive after a week. The speed is extremely slow. Tigray is in need of 100 trucks on daily basis. Interestingly, Ethiopian National News Agency yesterday reported that 85% of the hospitals in Amhara, Afar regions which were affected by the armed hostilities have restarted their work. So while 80% hospitals affected by the conflict in Afar, Amhara, BG and Oromia are starting to resume their services and they are providing services to patients, in Tigray, the largest hospital is sending its patients back home. New patients are being refused by the hospital. That is why we say, when we share these things with you, it does not mean that we support Tigray. But we cannot help comparing what's happening in Tigray and in other parts of Ethiopia. Tigray needs attention because Tigray is still under a siege. Aid is not being allowed in freely. That is why the situation is becoming worse with every passing days. Just a few trucks, 1 or 2 dozen trucks will not make any difference. For the improvement in humanitarian situation in Tigray, there must be sustained and sufficient supply of aid to Tigray. Thank you for watching.